Elon Musk, you have 24 hours to accept my offer. You have exactly 24 hours to say yes to this. Not to rush you, but because real breakthroughs only happen when you lock in your decision before hesitation creeps in and derails everything. Drop a comment below with, "I accept." If you're ready for the details on a challenge that could transform your life beginning at dawn tomorrow, I'll cut straight to it. Too many folks waste decades chasing the ideal starting point: more energy, extra cash, unbreakable self-assurance. They delay indefinitely only to wake up one day with no more chances left. That's not your story. Not if you grab hold of what I'm offering. My proposal is simple. In the coming 24 hours, tackle just one task you've been dodging. Something you've shelved out of fear, exhaustion, or the belief it won't count. Only one. But you must pledge to it immediately and complete it before the clock runs out. Why the tight deadline? It's brief enough to sidestep endless rumination, yet sufficient for a genuine shift. Pressure sparks movement, and movement is the spark that ignites true progress. I discovered this through painful trial and error. For ages, I harbored concepts I never pursued, dialogues I never initiated, shifts I never embraced. I convinced myself the stars would align later when I was better equipped. But later is a myth. Ideal circumstances are illusions. You're never fully primed. The game changer for me was grasping that achievers don't pause for flawless setups. They plunge in amid the mess, launch prematurely, vow to adapt on the fly. One vivid memory crystallized this. At 35, I was in my office staring at a notebook crammed with aspirations I jotted down over years. Mastering a foreign tongue, mending ties with distant relatives, launching that long-game venture, prioritizing wellness. The inventory had swelled, but I'd executed zero. I rationalized it away. More bandwidth soon, calmer seas ahead, greater readiness required. Then I chatted with a 78-year-old entrepreneur who'd built empires but missed personal milestones. He shared tales of destinations untouched due to endless deferrals. Kin unspoken to from sheer procrastination, talents untapped under the guise of next season. Next season looped 50 times. He lamented. Now seasons are scarce. His words hit like a thunderbolt. I saw my trajectory mirroring his piling up wishes without the will to act. All because the moment never seemed spot on. From that epiphany, I forged a personal code. If an idea haunts your thoughts enough to merit space, pursue it within 24 hours of that resolve. This principle reshaped my world. Not by granting flawlessness, but by compressing the void between desire and deed. It starved out second-guessing, curbed anxiety spread. So, your 24-hour mission: pinpoint one evasion and conquer it today. Need to make amends with someone? Dial them now. Not in a fortnight. Not after scripting the ideal script. Now, voice trembling or not. Unease mounting. Outcome uncertain. I know the weight. I once stalled 2 years on an apology, hunting elusive eloquence. When I dialed at last, stumbling raw, the recipient confessed they'd yearned for that outreach the whole time. 2 years of rift that might have been harmony lost to phantom perfection. Craving a new ability? Dive into the initial session today. Enroll in the workshop. Stream the intro video. Strum that debut note. Whip up that experimental dish. Skip the full regimen pledge. Just ignite the spark now. An acquaintance 65 and vibrant just picked up painting after decades of too late. I squandered 40 years deeming myself past prime. She reflected. Truth is, I could have splashed colors for lifetimes with one early brush stroke. A bond needing nurture. Extend the olive branch today. Ring that lapsed colleague. Pen that note to siblings or elders. Appear unannounced to affirm someone's worth. I once watched a connection erode from my busier days ahead mantra. When I finally reached out, news arrived. They'd passed 6 weeks prior. The words of appreciation forever unsaid. Spare yourself that void. A phobia holding sway. Confront it head-on today. Launch that tough talk. Submit that bid you doubt your credentials for. Sample that daunting pursuit. Sigh deep the fear that swells with delay. Avoidance amplifies terror. The sole antidote is motion. Life's disarray. Tangible or intangible piling up. Commence the purge today. Sort that overflowing drawer. Purge outdated files. Release that lingering resentment. Carve room for fresh starts. A colleague lingered 12 years sidestepping her deceased partner's mementos. Each glance stirred remorse and grief. Urged to initiate within a day, she began tentatively. It wasn't done in hours, but the onset shattered the barrier. The prelude was tougher than the task, she admitted. Procrastination poisoned more than the process. A vision you've labeled improbable. Edge toward it with a micro move today. Scout that startup concept. Draft the opening line of your manuscript. Place that inquiry call. Demonstrate that ambition solidify via incremental efforts, not grand blueprints. Polish comes post-launch. Inception is non-negotiable. The precise deed is secondary to the vow to move. The essence, halt the stall, ignite the now inside 24 hours. You're likely countering, Elon. I require prep time. I must strategize. I can't botch this. Wrong. You need inception. You need validation that resolve trumps readiness. Precision can lag. Initiation cannot. Consider Elena, 72, who embraced this dare. She'd been at odds with her son for a decade over a fated feud. For 10 years, she plotted the flawless reconciliation pitch, the opportune pause, the emotional armor against rebuff. When pressed to act in 24 hours, dread gripped her. What if he rejects me outright? What if I worsen the wound? I countered. What if an action etches eternal remorse? That night, Elena messaged her son. The exchange was halting, tear-streaked, unpolished, pauses heavy, phrases fumbling. Yet it bridged the chasm. That single outreach in a day span restored their tie, granting Elena her son anew and him his mother. I forfeited a decade chasing valor, she later shared. Now I see valor trails action, not precedes it. Boldness blooms from the leap. Or recall Tomas, 66, a lifelong dreamer of photography who dismissed it as beyond my years, schedule, or skill. Challenged to proceed in 24 hours, he scouted a local course and reserved his debut class for morning. The opener was rough, lenses baffled me, shots blurred. I felt the fool amid pros. But Tomas returned for session 2, 3 onward. Progress crept in. The camera grew familiar. Today, 3 years on, he captures family moments that light up gatherings. Basic shots, no masterpieces, he grins, but the joy. Priceless. It dawned on me. Not failure at shutter speed scared me, but committing to potential flops. Embracing stumbles turned dread to delight. The cycle repeats. We crave utopia that evades us. Then urgency compels the imperfect dive, unveiling how motion begets drive, assurance, doors. This 24-hour frame is your catalyst to affirm you're a maker, not a muser. But the linchpin pledge now pre-scroll, pre-distraction, pre-doubts bloom. No, I'll mull it. No, perhaps dawn. This instant, select your move for the next day and bind to it. Vocalize it, jot it, confide it, solidify the oath. I've learned the interlude from intent to execution is ambition's graveyard. Prolong it and odds plummet. Each delayed hour fortifies inertia. Each rationale paves for more. Each inaction day cements the rut. Reflect on your someday roster. How many somedays evaporated unacted? How many more will you squander? In my journey I've rued needless holds. Outreach delayed that could have bloomed sooner. Pursuits begun late when early would have amplified. Alliances adrift from a missed ping. We feign endless tomorrows but they're finite. Daily choices sculpt legacy. Each postponement of priority is irretrievable. 24 hours. One stride. Not pristine, not revolutionary, just a pivot from avoidance. Perhaps a dreaded chat, a deferred ring, a novel trial, a burdensome release. Whatever. Vow now. Execute soon. This may unsettle. Excellent. Evolution thrives in unease. Transformation demands forsaking comfort. Doubts whisper. Failure. Futility. Fiasco. Truth. Triumphs stem from more attempts than quits. Success evades flops. It embraces them amid pursuit. I've botched talks, flubbed skills, ghosted outreaches, abandoned ventures. Yet those misfires forged resilience, insight, and vital inaction sting outlasts trials tumble. Effort yields lessons, fortitude, closure. Omission breeds endless what-ifs. I once quizzed a 95-year-old visionary on life's deepest pangs. Not blunders or falls, but untried paths. The unsent missive, the skipped sojourn, the unvoiced affection, the unexplored craft. Not world-altering, he mused, but life-enriching, and terror pilfered them. Deny terror your tomorrows. Shun 95 with a ledger of lost intents. You've got 24 hours, not months, not ages. One evasion, one conquest. It works by quashing analysis paralysis, igniting imperative over intimidation, affirming your untapped power. Vast timelines breed endless prep and fret. 24 hours demands deed. No luxury for flawlessness. You proceed with what's at hand, and it's ample. Most quests need not mastery, but momentum. Any odyssey's crux is step one, not for its rigor, but for the confession. You're primed to venture, to risk, to trust evolution. Post that steps lighten, daunting to doable, doable to default. Yet none sans the inaugural, and that sparks solely from bold, unready resolve. Now anything else, nominate your 24-hour deed. Not a barrage, one vital, the scariest, the longest avoided, the game changer. Then oath it. Not scheming, not priming, enacting. A ring, a dialogue, a bid, a launch, a severance. Yours to claim now. Render it vivid, pressing, inescapable. By tomorrow's eve, you'll be actor or apologist. Yours to elect this instant. Will you seize or surrender another pivot? Grasp this. Beyond the deed lies proof you bridge intent to impact. Master once, repeat eternally. That's enduring evolution. 124-hour vow per stride. Skeptical, 2. Basic. How's one move seismic? It shatters stall cycles, validates agency, seeds compounding shifts. Envision a plane's wondery VE feels trivial mid-flight, yet lands continents apart. Your act that degree sustained a new trajectory. Transformers craft via steady micros, not spectacles, each stacks evidencing possibility. Your hour's deed prototype testament. You're unbound, empowered, alterable. Now plus your stride sparks chains. Witnesses to your fear defying, doubt dispelling, raw leap gain license to leap. Your valor begets valor. Your motion motivates masses. This dare yours, and a beacon for watchers craving proof. Boldness endures. Deeds define. Prove it to them, to you. Ring. Converse. Initiate in 24 hours. Timers on. Not tomorrow, not monsoon, not meter. Now each debate minute steals from meaningful motion. Cease coitation, blueprinting, buffering. Elect your deed. Oath utterly. Inscribe. Utter. Disclose. Anchor it. Then in hours enact, fear be damned, prep be sparse, alibis aside, beyond awaits you. Intent proven, courage conjured, change claim that you beckons. 124-hour act bridges. Will you? It shapes not just hours but horizons. Opt audaciously. Opt dynamically. Opt decisively. Pass this to a procrastinator needing nudge from pause to propel your 24-hour deed. Comment it. Public pledge amps accountability, ignites imitators. Most people live their whole lives in the waiting room, waiting for the right time to start, waiting until they're more confident, more prepared, more secure, waiting for some invisible permission slip that never comes. Years pass. Opportunities slip through their fingers and they wake up one day realizing that later has quietly turned into never. That's not going to be you. Not today. Not if you're willing to take this challenge. I'm going to be straightforward. In the next 24 hours, I'm asking you to do one single thing you've been avoiding. Just one. It could be small. It could be scary. It could be something you've been postponing for months or years. But you have to commit right now. And you have to do it before the 24 hours are up. Why 24 hours? Because it's short enough to slice through your excuses, but long enough to actually move the needle. Urgency creates energy. Energy fuels action. And action is the only thing that changes anything. I know this from painful experience. I spent years sitting on brilliant ideas, avoiding tough conversations, delaying life changes, always telling myself I'd start soon. Soon became later, later became never. My life only shifted when I stopped waiting for the perfect time and started moving forward in imperfect conditions. Here's what I learned. The people who accomplish things aren't special. They're not braver, richer, or smarter. They're the ones who act before they feel ready. They commit and then figure it out on the way. I remember staring at a handwritten list in my apartment one night. Dreams I wanted to chase, people I wanted to reconnect with, habits I wanted to build. A decade of good intentions untouched. Then I met an 82-year-old man who said, I had a list like that once. I kept thinking I'd start next year. Now I'm out of next year's. That sentence felt like a punch to the chest. That night, I made myself a rule. If something matters enough to think about twice, it matters enough to act on within 24 hours. That single rule didn't just change my productivity, it changed my identity. I went from being someone who planned to being someone who moved. So, here's the challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, if there's someone you've been needing to reach out to, call them today. Not next week. Not when you found the right words. Today. Even if your hands shake, even if you're not sure how they'll respond, if there's a skill you've dreamed of learning, take the first step now. Sign up for a class. Download a tutorial. Play the first chord. Cook the first recipe. Stop thinking about the mountain and take the first foothold. If a relationship needs healing, reach out. A message, a letter, a doorstep visit. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It rarely comes. If there's a fear you've been avoiding, face it now. Apply for that opportunity. Have that uncomfortable talk. Try that thing that scares you. Fear doesn't shrink with time. It grows. The only way through it is movement. If your life feels cluttered, start clearing space. A closet, a drawer, a grudge. Make room for something new. Waiting is always heavier than doing. If there's a dream you've dismissed as unrealistic, take the smallest action toward it today. Research. Call someone. Sketch the first outline. Dreams are built through small starts, not grand launches. It doesn't matter what the action is. What matters is proving to yourself that you can collapse the gap between intention and action. I'll tell you a story. Margaret, 74, hadn't spoken to her son in 11 years. She kept telling herself she'd reach out when the time was right. When I challenged her to act within 24 hours, she trembled. "What if he rejects me?" she asked. I said, "What if you never try and regret it for the rest of your life?" That evening, she called. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. 2 years later, they see each other weekly. All because she took one shaky step within 24 hours. Or David, 69, who always dreamed of playing guitar. He thought he was too old, too clumsy, too late. When he accepted the 24-hour challenge, he booked a lesson. His first attempt was awful. His fingers hurt. He wanted to quit. 2 years later, he plays songs for his grandchildren. His regret isn't that he started late, it's that he didn't start earlier. Here's the pattern. Waiting breeds fear. Fear breeds inaction. Inaction breeds regret. The only way to break the pattern is to act before you feel ready. This challenge isn't about perfection. It's about momentum. It's about proving to yourself that you're not just a thinker, you're a doer. The space between deciding and acting is where dreams go to die. Every hour you wait makes action less likely. Every excuse you nurture grows roots. Every day you delay makes the habit of not doing stronger. Think of all the things you've meant to do someday. How many somedays have come and gone? How many more will you let slip away? We live as if time is infinite. It isn't. Every day is a choice. Every delay is a lost day. 24 hours. One action. That's it. Not a perfect action. Not a complete overhaul. Just one step. Maybe it's a call. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's starting or ending something. Commit to it now. Make it real. Make it urgent. Tomorrow at this time, you'll be one of two people. The one who acted or the one who explained why they didn't. The choice is entirely yours. But you must make it now. Don't tell yourself you need to prepare. You don't. You need to begin. Bravery doesn't come before action. Bravery comes from action. Courage is a consequence, not a prerequisite. This 24-hour window isn't just about a single action. It's about rewiring your brain. Once you prove you can close the gap between decision and execution, once you can do it again and again and again. That's how lives transform. Not through giant leaps but through repeated micro-acts of courage. You might think this seems too small to matter. It matters because it breaks the inertia. It matters because it's the seed of a different identity. Think of it like altering a plane's course by 1 degree. At first, it seems insignificant, but over time, that small shift lands you in a completely different destination. This one action is your 1-degree shift. Your action will also ripple outward. When others see you moving despite fear, they'll feel permission to do the same. Your courage creates courage. Your action breeds action. So this isn't just for you. It's for everyone watching you. Everyone hoping to see evidence that change is still possible. Be that evidence. Do it within 24 hours, not tomorrow. Not soon. Now. Every minute you spend debating is a minute you're not doing. Decide right now what you'll do in the next 24 hours. Say it out loud. Write it down. Tell someone. Make it real and then do it. No matter how messy, no matter how scared you feel, no matter how imperfect the attempt. On the other side of that action is a version of you who has proven that waiting is optional, that fear is beatable, that change begins when you decide it does. That person is waiting. All you have to do is step forward. Will you? The answer will shape not just your next 24 hours, but possibly your next 24 years. Choose boldly. Choose now. Choose action. And if you're ready, leave a comment saying, accept. Not tomorrow. Not later. Right now. Let the clock start.